Morning, gentlemen. Press conference today, just an update on the World Cup. Most of it is talking about availability. We're moving the team along. There's been the people who have been confirmed. Speak to those, and those people are some of the people overseas. Freddie Hall's confirmed. Nikki Val's confirmed. Taj Val confirmed. Cordero Maynard confirmed. Colin Smith confirmed. We're still waiting on availability of Torrin, and Rico. And we're also doing a lot of checks on island. Some of the people on island who have confirmed are, and again, we have to go through this process with everyone. So what it looks like is, let us go out well in advance before the first round of matches. And although availability was suggested from everyone, it's still a process you have to go through individually with each match. So the availability of players as we get it, we will confirm it. So those are some of the highlights as far as some of the overseas people. But there's a bunch of people on island that were also going through the gears of getting process. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that previously we had talked about targeting overseas training camps, and one of them, the training base for us, was in Fort Lauderdale. Now, based on both matches being here in Bermuda, being financially prudent, and also what's available from the employers, because a lot of the local employers are giving major sponsorship to the association by allowing their employee to be released, sometimes without consequence, which means pay, and without jeopardy of when you go back, because you was all of this occurred. So we're very thankful and want to take this time now to say thank you to the local employers and the families of the players. So the training base now is going to be here in Bermuda. So we'll get the players in like we normally do 5 days before the match, and we'll start our process. So the process looks training up at the National Stadium building right up to the match. So the players will check into a local hotel the Wednesday, 48 hours before the match, the Wednesday night, Thursday off from work, Friday off from work, which is the match day. Then they will be released after the match, and then we'll pick it up again 48 hours before the second match here in Bermuda.
What's Reggie's status?
Reggie is unavailable for the first match. Reggie picked up 2 cautions in the first match against Trinidad and the second match in Guyana. So Reggie's not available based on cautions, amount of cautions received in the first 2 matches. So Reggie's will be in the selection pool for the second match against Guyana.
Have you learned anything from the first 2 matches that you're going to apply differently as you go into the next set?
You always say that, yes, and I think we certainly, they had a look at us, we had a look at them. Footage that we will gather and we'll go through will certainly give us some, it's always, when you look at the game without the emotion attached, you obviously see it differently. So, we're still going through that, but some of the things that we can do better will be our restarts. So restarts for us is throw-ins and corners. Those are some of the things that I know we can do better with. So those are the immediate things. So I say yes, we look to make some improvements there.
Now, did you have game film from the matches?
Yes, the game, how it works, game film is, just like here in Bermuda, the games will be taped, and then based on whatever sort of agreement the media has with the footage, you can get released, you should get it immediately, but sometimes it's delayed 48 hours, so yes.
How many times have you gone through the games to try to fine-tune things?
Like I said, you just have to look at it without the emotion of the match. So when we look at how close we were in the first match against Trinidad, like seconds or inches away, depending on your viewpoint, of going into the half scoreless. And I think it was a bad time to concede, but it was a good time, because a minute the goal was scored, we was able to get them back in the change and refocus, and to set us up for the for the second half. The match in Guyana was the opposite. After the restart, and that's when most goals are scored. 15 minutes into the game, maybe 15 minutes at the end of the second half, and restart 15 minutes in, and 15 minutes. A lot of statistics suggest that those are the vulnerable moments. So we look to better manage those moments. So again, the footage of the tape actually helps to remove that emotional part of it and to make better decisions. So we need to have the better balance between decision making and technique in those situations.
How important is it for you to take Trinidad out of its momentum in the first game by scoring a goal?
You know, I think the main thing is to see if we can give ourselves opportunity to get results. I mean, before we went on the first leg, I think I've always said that we're at a state in our football where we just want to be really competitive in games and give ourselves opportunity to get a result. A result could be a win, and that's what everybody wants, but a result can also mean remaining competitive and give yourself a chance, because with hope, and that's what we have in these other two matches, hope that we have an opportunity to get a result. So, you know, that's all we're speaking to, is trying to manage the expectation of the individual players, individual groups and the team, and the country has to manage their own expectation of what they expect us to do. But certainly what we're trying to do is get into the match and give ourselves an opportunity to get a result.
When can we see a final squad list?
Hopefully by Friday. Like for example, in going through the availability of overseas players, obviously we can get broken better deals financially with tickets. But everyone received the information together. It's just a matter of having the individual conversation with employers. So the information has been sent to the players. We keep contacting the players. We make phone calls to the employers. So as soon as that's done, then we can get that list to you. Hopefully by Friday this week. That's our date that we're pushing for. But a lot of it sometimes is out of our hands. It's really what the employer says or doesn't say. What we're hoping is that the initial travel period that we've talked about for each run has been 10 days. But certainly the one here in Bermuda is reduced. So the Bermuda period is 4 days off from work, and it is only if they work a traditional week from Monday to Friday. Some of our players work, you know, for the fire service and hotels. So the work week's different. So it's not 4 days for them; it's a little bit more. And then for the trip in November, it's 5 days. And we also have a school component where it's exams and some other things. So there's a bunch of stuff, and so it's not as simple as okay, you know the dates and go get it done. There's a lot of logistics that have to be worked through. And again, you know, that's what we're doing, doing our due diligence to make sure that when we put the names out, that no one's going to, you know, not be available at the last moment.
Now, you had a few games, Dudley Eve and Premier Division games, as well as First Division games. Has anyone stood out and been offered a chance to get into the squad?
This week, and again, what we try to do is go through the availability first of the players that we have. But this week, again, based on people's not been available, yes, there might be 1 or 2 people will be offered opportunity. The other thing that we're hoping to do is, if we were off island, we would have had a match against anyone, a closed door match, 60-minute match against an opponent. So that's another opportunity to look at someone. And again, we're not just, I think most people focus on they every right to, the World Cup in front of us, but we're also focusing on international window, which is in February. We're also focused on the Digicel, which is the summer. So immediately, the short-term focus obviously is the World Cup, but medium range is Digicel, and then beyond that, you know, it's Island Games, which is long-term, 2013. So there's a bunch of things that we're focused on. So there's going to be lots of opportunities for people. Some could be as early as Friday and Tuesday. It could be delayed slightly for the next run against Barbados, and certainly there are going to be matches that we're planning for in February of next year, and then next season with the Digicel, and that's not to mention the Hog season. So yes, there's going to be tons of opportunities. It's just you know, looking at players like you mentioned that we're doing. So we're doing due diligence there, and you know, some people have caught the eye. But we were trying to go through the local coaches. We've contacted some to inquire about those players, because what we see on the match pitch is great, but we want to get some other information about training pitch also.
I guess you'll be sad to see that Cameron Jones has been ruled out after the Trinidad game.
Yes, because I guess for us, you know, you want the best players on you know, if you're a sporting purist, you want the best players on the field for both teams, so you have a good game. And the other thing I think would have been nice would have been for the local public to see how you know, how we manage that sort of person, the player that Cameron Jones presents with his physical prowess and some of the things that he does really, really well, and some of the ways in which some of the players who played against the last match cope with that. And I think that would have been interesting. But I'm sure Trinidad has more Kenyon Jones-like players, so we will still get the opportunity to see how we cope.
Are you a bit concerned, again, here we go, whenever players make themselves available? Nakia was back in his team when he got back, and he made himself available. Now he's out of the Bradford team. Is that a bit of concern for you as a coach?
Well, ideally you want players to have matches, so the first thought is, are they playing regularly? Yes, that would be the concern. But we know that if you're practicing, if you're playing to practice, then you practice to play. So what that means is that when you get into a match, is what you did in training that shall come out, and when you're in training, you're preparing for the match. So if Nakia is doing that without the match part, then we'll do fine. And I know that Nakia has had 2 matches with us, which was a lot more possibly, because Nakia, like a lot of the players, they haven't played 90 minutes for a while now. Mm-hmm. So it's not just well, since Nakia's moved to the professional side, he hasn't started many matches. And so when he plays for the national team, he obviously plays longer. So, you know, from speaking to the Nakias, they enjoy coming back to Bermuda because they get a real run out, and that helps to move them along. But to answer your question as far as the conflict or potential conflict, Nakia doesn't see it that way, and I can't speak for his manager, so you know, that's, you know, we're just happy that Nakia has made himself available, because I guess he sees the value of the shirt, the Bermuda shirt that he wants to put on for us. So we're happy about that.